What are normal constituents of urine? Ammonia. Not exactly ammonia. Since it is passing out in urine, it is kind of ammonium ions. But we say it's. What are the normal constituents of urine? Urea. Uric acid. Yes, very good. Creatinine. Yes, creatinine. Any other? Yes? Ketone body is not a normal constituent of urine. Acha, tell me, is protein a normal constituent of urine or an abnormal constituent of urine? Abnormal. How many of you says it is abnormal constituent? You can raise your hand. There's no need to get tensed about it. It's a simple classroom. We are all here to enlighten ourselves. So only 2-3 of you believes, huh? सुना तो मैंने बहुत जोर से था. And how many of you say it is normal constituent? You say it is normal constituent. Actually, it is both. I'll tell you how. We generally pass proteins in our urine. It is not explained in this PPT, but I want you to specifically write this thing. Protein is considered a normal constituent if the daily protein loss through urine is less than 200 mg per dl. 200 mg per, not dl actually, 200 mg per 24 hours. 200 mg less than 200 mg in 24 hours. If the urinary loss of protein is less than 200 mg in 24 hours, it is completely normal. It is completely normal. But if it is above 250 or 300, then it is a sign of worry. At that concentration, it is abnormal. Okay, above 250 or 300, it is considered abnormal. Some labs, reputed labs, mention 250 mg per 24 hours. Some considered the old literature of 300 mg per 24 hours. Okay, so protein is now, what's the answer? Normal or abnormal constituent of urine? It is both. Depends on the amount of protein that is excreted through urine. Okay. Now, how the protein is excreted in urine? It's a separate chapter. I'll not cover it here. Can you name one disease that is related to that? It is quite prevalent in diabetes mellitus. In diabetes mellitus, passage of protein in urine is markedly increased, and that condition is called as diabetic nephropathy. Now, coming back to today's topic, nephropathy. Now, first, the chemical composition. Chemical composition of urine. Normal urine contains both organic and inorganic components. Now, what is the difference between normal and organic and inorganic components? Basic class 6th chemistry. You shouldn't have a habit that you shouldn't write anything until and unless you do not know the meaning of that word. What is the difference between inorganic and organic chemistry? Oh, constituents. क्या difference होता है दोनों में? Okay, she is saying that predominantly compounds which contain carbon are organic and which do not contain are inorganic. Then what is sodium cyanide? Sodium cyanide क्या है फिर? अच्छा, सोडियम साइनाइड का काम क्या होता है? What is the function of, मतलब what sodium cyanide does? आप उसे जीभ पे रखेंगे तो क्या होगा? सारे दुखों से मुक्ति मिल जाएगी, और क्या होगा? ये होगा, और क्या होगा? पोटेशियम साइनाइड रखोगे तो और तेजी से मिल जाएगी. So you have to go and look that what is the difference between an organic constituent and an inorganic constituent. Okay. Now, inorganic constituents include, please read, and traces of bicarbonate ions. Organic constituents include, this is more important, organic constituents include our urobilinogen, next is hippuric acid, etc. So what are the main organic components? You have named 3, add 2 more, urobilinogen and hippuric acid. I have named, these are the major ones, okay? These are the major ones. There is a long list of that. Test for organic constituents. You have to write down these in your manuals. When you start preparing your manuals, you have to write down this, okay? What are the organic constituents? Name them. Urea, uric acid, creatinine, hippuric acid or urobilinogen. Test for urea. Number 1. Test for urea. We are assessing this in urine sample. Number 1 is sodium hypobromide test. When urea is treated with sodium hypobromide, it decomposes into nitrogen. Write this thing down. You have to write it down exactly in your manuals. 2 ml of urine solution is taken in a test tube and 5 drops of sodium hydroxide and 8 to 10 drops of bromine water is added. If you can see this reaction, ये जो हो रही है यहाँ पे, सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड और ब्रोमीन वाटर जब साथ में मिलते हैं तो क्या बनता है? सोडियम हाइपोब्रोमाइड. Which is here, I think. This is bromine water and this is sodium hydroxide. Why I have covered bromine water with a lid there, the glass jar? Because bromine vapors are volatile. They escape. Bromine water is also predominantly rusty, like that color. But I have prepared a very mild dilution. Today when we opened that bottle, it was causing massive irritation in our eyes. Now what will be the observation here? Brisk effervescence of nitrogenous gas. Nitrogen gas is observed. Brisk effervescence क्या होती है? What are brisk effervescences? Have you ever opened a cold drink bottle after shaking it?
Yes, sir.
Kind of that only. But the basic difference is, in that soda bottle it is carbon dioxide and here it is nitrogen gas. How can we identify nitrogen gas? Is there any test to identify nitrogen gas? There is actually no standard test available to test those effervescences. Why? Because nitrogen is a very stable compound. It is actually inert. It is more inert than some noble gases also. It does not react with anyone. So it is very hard to identify. But since we are doing that in a urine sample, number 2, that is also for urea. This test is also for urea. Please name the test. Specific urease test. When urea is treated, this one is important. This one is very important for Viva. So please write it down. When urea is treated with the enzyme, which enzyme? Urease. Backbench. There, at the corner. Which enzyme? Urease, yes. It is converted to ammonia and carbonic acid. Under the pH of the reaction, they are converted to ammonium carbonate. The pH of the solution goes above 8.5. Why it goes above 8.5? Any guesses? Why it goes above 8.5? Because ammonia is liberated and ammonia is alkaline in nature. It forms ammonium hydroxide in aqueous solution, which is a weak base. So the pH goes above 7, a slightly alkaline pH, 8.5. When urea is converted to ammonium carbonate, at this pH, phenolphthalein gives pink color. and as we see pink color in the test tube, urea is confirmed. Okay. It is asked quite a lot of time in Vivas that which indicator does we use? Which indicator is this? Phenolphthalein. Which indicator is this? Phenolphthalein. And what color does it give? And what would happen to phenolphthalein in acidic condition? Yes, very good. Actually, it is not color change, the color disappears. Color disappears. Very good. Please write down, this is the standard protocol of this. You have to mention like this in your manuals. Take 5 ml of urea solution in a test tube, add 2 ml of urease suspension. It is not urea solution, it is urine solution. I think they have not corrected it. Add 2 drops of phenolphthalein indicator and observe. Are you writing that down? Please write it down. Pink color is obtained. Urea is confirmed. Normal urine contains urea. Where urea is formed in body? Yes, very good, excellent. It is formed in liver and it is excreted via kidneys. If any synthesis is going on in the body, any synthesis, please remember that either fully or partly it must be prepared. It must be getting formed in liver. Most of the metabolites that are there in the body. Test for uric acid. Uric acid is a reducing agent in alkaline condition. Uric acid is a. You have to write it down. You have to write it down. Urea is end product of which metabolism? Urea is formed by the metabolism, end product of which metabolism? Yes, ammonia. But that ammonia is coming from? That ammonia is coming from? That ammonia is coming from proteins. Proteins. So if you will have a predominantly rich diet in protein, you may see elevated levels of urea in blood and consequently in urine. Test for uric acid. Test for uric acid. Uric acid is reducing agent in alkaline condition. In alkaline condition, it reduces phosphotungstic acid to tungsten blue. To tungsten blue. You have to write this thing down. This is the main thing. Benedict's uric acid reagent test. 2 ml of urine solution, add 5 drops of Benedict's uric acid reagent. Not Benedict's reagent. Benedict's uric acid reagent. The other name for that is phosphotungstic acid. Followed by 5 drops of 20% Na2CO3. Na2? What is Na2CO3? Sodium? Sodium carbonate. Blue color is obtained. Uric acid is confirmed. Normal urine contains uric acid. Now uric acid is formed by catabolism of which metabolite in body? It is the end product of which metabolite? Uric acid. Urea was for proteins. Uric acid is for purines. Especially purines. Purines. What are purines? What are the example of purines? Example होता है प्यूरिन के एडेनिन और दूसरा कौन सा होता है? यस बोलो बोलो. Adenine, guanine. What you are talking, don't confuse it with nucleoside and nucleotide. I am just asking the nitrogenous base of that, adenine and guanine. Okay. So since people who have predominantly non-vegetarian diet, they would be taking more meat. So what would be elevated in their serum levels? Uric acid, because indirectly they would be taking a lot of amount of nucleic acid, which would contain higher amount of purines, leading to elevated uric acid levels. That's why patients who have gout, they are prohibited two things to consume. Alcohol, number one is alcohol, and number two is, yes, meat. Okay. Pain of gout is very crucifying type. You know what is crucifying pain? कि जैसे कील ठोकते हैं तो बहुत दर्द होता है, and that usually happens around 3 AM to 4 AM, जब सबसे मीठी नींद आती है. It's a very painful condition. If you'll when you'll go in the OPD or in the departments, you will see cases there. Gout is a very common disease. Now, the last one, test for creatinine. Test for creatinine. What is creatinine? What is creatinine? Non-nitrogenous?
Non-proteinaceous
Nitrogen, yes, it is non-proteinaceous nitrogen. Now she has said a very interesting term, non-proteinaceous nitrogen. If creatine is non-proteinaceous nitrogen, can we say uric acid is also NPN, non-proteinaceous nitrogen? Yes? Most of you agree with that? Most of you agree with that? Uric acid is also NPN. Okay? Uric acid is also NPN. Now, what is the test for creatinine? What test we apply there? Acha, what do you pronounce it? Is it Jaffe's or Jaff's test? Jaffe's. Jaff's test. Please correct it. It is Jaffe's test. It is Jaffe's test. I remember in my competitive exam, I got one question that who discovered, I think, mutations P.J. Muller, H.J. Muller, A.J. Muller, like this. They word play like this. This was asked in Viva. I was performing that in my standard curve. They asked me कि इसका pronunciation क्या होगा, Jaff's होगा कि Jaffe's होगा. तो उस दिन correct हुआ मेरा. Jaff's, yes. Even my HOD was saying Jaff's. Creatinine present in urine. The motto of this thing, I am telling you that whichever stage of life you are in, never hesitate to learn. Okay? सीखना कभी बंद नहीं करना आपने. Creatinine present in urine reacts with picric acid. Which one? Acha, you see the bottles over here. Can anyone identify which one is the picric acid? Yellow one. And what is the formula for that? अरे नहीं लिखा. अच्छा, नाम लिखा है. हाँ, मुझे तो बैक से दिखाई दे रहा था एक्चुअली. कोई बात नहीं. बेटा, व्हाट इज द फॉर्मूला फॉर दैट? क्या? हाँ, पिक्रिक एसिड फॉर्मूला. इट इज 2,4,6. आगे क्या? देयर इज 1 phenol group and 3 nitro group. Now it is your homework. Find it out. It has 1 phenol group and at 2 ortho and 1 para position it is nitro group present. Now let's come back to that. Reacts with picric acid in, again, alkaline medium. Alkaline medium was seen before in uric acid also. Where phosphotungstic acid was reduced to tungsten blue in alkaline medium to form creatine pictate complex, which has orange to red color. Write it down quickly. 2 ml of creatinine solution plus 2 ml of saturated picric acid solution. That's not creatinine solution, that is you can add urine solution. Plus 1 ml of 10% NaOH. 10% NaOH. Orange color is obtained. Orange to red color is obtained. Creatinine is confirmed. Normal urine contains creatinine. Now, from where creatinine is coming in urine? Creatinine. From Like in urea, we have seen it was coming from proteins. Uric acid was coming from purines. So from where creatinine is coming? Creatinine. Creatinine is coming from creatine phosphate, which is found in muscles. Okay? It is coming from creatine phosphate, which is found in muscle. Creatine phosphate is a high energy compound. Let's say I am standing here, but suddenly I have to run. So the muscles will utilize energy from creatine phosphate. Okay? Creatine phosphate. And the amount of creatinine in urine, it depends on two factors. Can you name them? Can you name them? Two factors depend that how much normal concentration is excreted. What is a normal excreted concentration? What value is normal? There are two factors. Number one is gender. Males have predominantly high creatinine values. Why? Because males have more muscle mass. Okay? If males have more muscle mass, what do females have? They have more adipose tissue. Secondly, age. With age also it is elevated. Inorganic constituents. Though it is not now in your syllabus, but you have to write these things down. Okay? These are not in your syllabus. Only three of them: creatinine, urea, and uric acid. But you have to write the inorganic constituents. You can take a picture of these tests. But you have to write these things down in your manuals, okay? Each and every test. We have to perform these things in the lab now. That's why I'm in a hurry. Tell me one thing. I have two patients in my OPD. Okay. One is a predominantly non-vegetarian and one is a pure vegetarian like me. And I take urine sample of both of them for pH estimation. Which patient will have a higher pH and why? Non-vegetarian? Vegetarian? Why? He has a very valid point. But it is not the complete answer. Anyone else? He is right. The person who have predominantly non-vegetarian diet will have a lower pH, will have slightly acidic pH. Why? Because there will be formation of a number of organic acids in its body during the breakdown of that meat. Okay? While the person who consume leafy vegetables, they will have a higher concentration of basic radicals, like he will be having more amount of calcium hydroxide, more oxalates. So the pH would be slightly elevated. So this is also a very important point. Okay? When you take the patient history, these things are very important to consider. Okay? Why this is important? Because if you say that pH is slightly on the lower side, should we consider it a case of acidosis? No, not straight away. You have to take its history. If it has a predominantly vegetarian diet, you can say that he is suffering from acidosis. But if that person is taking a non-vegetarian diet, and if a pH is slightly on the lower side, you will send them to re-examination. Or to the higher clinician. Ammonia test. These are all based upon that precipitate formation, okay? Like silver bromide, silver iodide, these are all PPTs you must have done in class 11th, na? Class 11th and 12th. These are not in your syllabus, that's why I am not covering this thing. Now the conclusion is, normal urine is pale yellow or straw in color. Normal urine is acidic in nature. Normal urine has aromatic odor. Normal urine contains organic constituents like and creatinine. Normal urine contains inorganic constituents like calcium. There are a number of them. There are many more, but these are the main, okay? Now, you all will proceed to the lab and you all will perform the test, okay there. Each and everyone will perform all the 3 tests for urea, uric acid and creatinine. You will show to the concerned faculty, only then you will be awarded attendance, okay? You will not discard the test tubes until and unless you have shown them to the faculty, okay?